Hey, what's up everybody? Bro Trio here, and I was doing this myself, and then I had several friends asking me what the best practices might be, so I decided I'll go ahead and just make a video about it and how best to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2. So that happens very soon. That's on April 24th. So here's a few things to go over. We'll go over some basic pre-ordering behaviors that you should have in place, and then like the individual storefronts after that. We're going to go through this pretty quick, so try to keep up, rewind if you need to, but first and foremost, set up accounts on every site. You don't want to risk, Best Buy being sold out and then that's it, you're done. Like, go ahead and try to do all of these, like, if you can, at least. A lot of these with the websites, I believe it is pay it in full. Like, the only one I know you only have to pay part of is GameStop. You have to do $50 down, but I think that's only in person. On the website, I'm not sure if that does that or not. But just be prepared just in case. And here are some other things to do. So set up all your accounts so that way you don't have to put in your address and stuff like that, and your Switch sells out while you're telling them where to send it and everything. Save your card info in there also. Like, I mean, if you're worried about people stealing your information, just delete it after you pre-order it. But like, go ahead and save it now. Like, odds of you getting your identity stolen in 2 days is not very likely, I think. I'm not too sure. I've never really had it happen. But it's good to just go ahead and have that saved again, because you don't want to be typing in your card information and your Switch 2 is now gone. Someone else has it. And this is the other one that will require some math on your part, because I can't do it for you because everybody's different. But try to calculate your taxes. Like, if you know you're going to be like cutting it close on the monetary part of it, because I mean, base model is $400. With Mario Kart bundle it's $450, so that's a decent chunk of change, and tax is going to add a decent bit to that. So try to figure out what your tax is. Like, I know here ours is 10%, so it's pretty easy to figure out. Like, you just bump it up 10%, and that's roughly what it'll be. Online can have cheaper taxes here and there, but try to like get a local receipt, and down by the totals they might have a percentage written out if you don't already know your tax percentage. And then you just got to do some simple math and figure out, like, oh, it's $450, so I'm gonna be, putting down like, $510 or something for this, and then do that with all the accessories as well. And speaking of, get the console first. That's its own separate transaction. You want to get the console first. Accessories are going to be easier to get, I think. Plus, all the Switch 1 accessories still work with the Switch 2, and it comes with, like, the whole Switch thing. You got the Joy-Con grip, and they come off, and then it can be its own Pro Controller. So get the system, and then after you have that, get the accessories after that. Because getting the Pro Controller, the camera, I can't remember the other stuff. If you want a second dock and stuff like that, get that later. Like, that is a lot more niche compared to the actual console, and I know it would suck. I know one person had this with I think it was PS5. They ordered a separate controller, and the controller came, but then their console got canceled. So they just had the accessories and nothing to play it on. So you do not want that to happen. Just a stupid camera staring you in the face showing you what you missed out on would suck. So console first, accessories later. And go ahead and make sure your phone and computer are updated, especially since we're doing this at midnight on the 24th for the most part. You don't want any Windows updates kicking in. You don't want your iOS or Android updates kicking in. Like, go ahead and make sure they're up to date now. And that way it's one less thing you have to worry about. Also, just for time's sake, close out every other app. Like, this is all you should be doing at the time. Like, it is first come, first serve, and y'all gotta beat me out to get one. So, you want to try to get every edge you have. So, you don't want the processing power of your computer to not load up the website and all that stuff. So, go ahead and just close out of everything. And then, contrary to that, you also want to have multiple tabs open. So you want wherever you're pre-ordering, if you're doing it at one place or multiple places, you want that tab open. So, for example, you would go to Best Buy. You would have the System tab open, and then you would have your Accessories tab open. I would say you only need one for the lot of accessories. So if you're getting the Pro Controller and the camera, just do the Pro Controller, because then you can just scroll down and add the camera to it. But yeah, having System in one tab, Accessories in the other tab, multiple storefronts in other tabs, you want to have those readily available, because it is going fast and you don't want to be left out, because FOMO is going to be real if everybody else is like rooting around, driving all over the place in Mario Kart, and you are stuck on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like that, you would feel very left out and the FOMO would be real. So you don't want to get left out. But that is all the general stuff. So we're going to go through the individual stores now, alphabetically. And let's get one out of the way now. It's Amazon. Everybody orders through Amazon. Nintendo does not play nice with Amazon. Nintendo does not officially do much with Amazon, so anything you see Nintendo related on Amazon is more than likely a third-party seller, and you definitely want to avoid those. Avoid scalpers at all costs, because you don't want to reward that shitty behavior of them just buying it and then bumping up the price like this. It pisses me off. I have a lot of bad amiibo memories. But Amazon is a no-go. They don't. Just avoid them. You don't want to get scalped. You don't want to support a scalper, and then you don't want to also buy something. It's like, it's a Nintendo Switch 2. It's just a Nintendo Switch 1 with a 2 like branded on it. You don't want to get any of that. So next would be the most reliable one, I feel, is going to be Best Buy. Best Buy is starting pre-orders at 12 a.m. Eastern Time on the 24th. This is website only, so like I said, you're probably going to have to pay for the full schlemiel right at the get-go. So if you got it, get it. If not, see if you can get your funds in order in the next couple days. But Best Buy, I think, will be one of the best places to do it. I pre-ordered through them a lot, and they used to have like a whole pre-order program that was really cool. They discontinued it, but Best Buy does pre-orders pretty damn well, and I believe you will have the option to pick it up or get it shipped. And then I think up until like a week or 2 weeks before, I think you can still swap it. So if you were like, I'm gonna get it shipped, I'm not gonna be off when it comes out, I'm not going there, I think you could change it to pick up in store a little bit before. So I don't think you're locked in to just getting it shipped or just getting it picked up in store. But Best Buy is doing most of their stores, and I couldn't get a definitive answer because they were like, well, we don't have the list finalized yet. But most of their stores are doing midnight releases. It says on their website, it's like, check to see if your store is doing it. And then you check it, and it's just the hours for this current week. You know, like, that's not what I wanted. But I did call Best Buy, and they did tell me it should be updated on the site that night if your store is doing a midnight launch or not. Midnight launches are fun, but kind of worth it, kind of not. If you're just dying to play Mario Kart at midnight, like, it is an event. Like, it's fun to go to, especially if you're going with a group of friends. Like, obviously, the bro trio here, we're all brothers, so we all go. Like, Switch 1 was a fun night for us, and we went to the midnight launch of that. But if you don't need it, like, it's not that worth it to stay up late because you could always just wake up early that night, go right when Best Buy opens and pick it up that morning, and then you're up earlier than you typically would be, and then you can just enjoy it that way. But not 100% confirmed if they're doing midnight launches. Like that, I think is the most reliable place to pre-order. But if you really want it at midnight, like I do, I'm kind of leaning towards GameStop at the moment, just because like I don't fully know if mine will do it or not. But that's Best Buy. So GameStop, speaking of, they are doing it weirdly, like later, it seems. They have said it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All these are going to be Eastern Standard Times, and then you can figure out your time zone change as you need to. But GameStop is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in person and online. So that means you can go camp out in front of the GameStop store and be the first in line to physically pre-order your Nintendo Switch 2. You can also do it on the website. And I'm going to be checking the website at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time anyways, just to see if, like, it's up or not. Like, I'm still going to check. But most, if not all, are doing midnight launches for this. I mean, it's a big event, and this is what GameStop was built on. Like, that's the main thing everybody talks about with GameStop is the midnight launches. Now, GameStop does have a few extra things. They have a trade-in program and a transfer program. So, you can trade in your Nintendo Switch 1, and then they'll, like, get the transfer process started for the Nintendo Switch 2. And they have already listed, like, their amounts for the trade-ins and stuff. So that's nice. So, going through it, again, I wouldn't recommend this. I would say just keep your Switch 1 and then sell it later on eBay. You'll probably get more that way than this way, but the trade-in values are, for an OLED, you get $175. For a standard Switch, you get $125. For a Lite, you get about $65. And then each Joy-Con is about $15. So if you have a bunch of Joy-Con 1s, you can trade all those in. One set is about $30. So I have like 3 sets in addition to what is on my console. So that could be a hefty chunk of change. Again, I'm not going to do it, but I could. But that's it for GameStop. So next up is Nintendo, and this is the easiest one because you can do it right now. You can just go on Nintendo and sign up for the pre-order program there. I don't think they're doing anything on the 24th at midnight. Like, I think theirs is later. But you can sign up now, and the main thing you want to do is sign up because it has some prerequisites. Like, I think you have to have a Nintendo account, and I don't know if that means like you have to, if you're on a family plan, if you have to be the head of the family, or if it's anyone on that plan can do it. And you have to have like 50 plus hours in online games or just any game or something like that, which I more than have. But if it's just I can do it and Aaron and Scotty can't because we're on the family plan and I pay for it, that would be a little weird. But there are some stipulations to that, and if you do that route, make sure you go into your email settings and have promo emails on, because that's more than likely what it's going to be coded as when it comes into your email box. But basically that sounds like they are just like, hey, we got your Switch, it's going to be here for like 12 hours, claim it or don't, and then we'll move on. And that's that. Now I will be checking Nintendo on the 24th at midnight for not necessarily all accessories, but I don't know, and I can't find anywhere that says it. But I want that damn Nintendo Switch Online GameCube controller, and that's mainly what I'm looking for at Nintendo. So if they have that at launch, boom, I'm getting it. Because those go fast, and they get scalped to hell. They get a hefty markup. So next up is Target. Target is 12 a.m. Eastern Time on the website. And I would guess they're probably not having a midnight launch. Target is pretty good about pre-orders too. But again, more than likely no midnight launch, and you could just show up in the morning if you really need it that bad. But yeah, Target is 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the website, so check that out. And then Walmart, also 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At least ours used to be 24 hours Walmart, but now it's not, ever since like the pandemic and everything. So I don't know if Walmart will be doing a midnight launch or not, because they used to, but they kind of didn't. They were just open at midnight, and then you could just show up, and then they were like, okay, here you go, and that's it. But because I remember my friend, when we were pre-ordering, we were getting Gears of War 3, and we all went to the GameStop to get it, and they lost his pre-order or something, so he's like, okay, and then he just went to Walmart and picked it up, because they were like, yeah, we're putting these out right now. So I don't know if they'll do a midnight launch or not. I kind of doubt it, but they are boasting that they have free delivery by 9 a.m. So are they just gonna have one of their employees driving around with a truck of Switch 2s, just like handing them out like Santa Claus? Like, that'd be interesting. But that's what they're saying. It's free delivery by 9 a.m. So that's also an option. Again, not midnight, but pretty close, and you don't have to go to get it, which would be, kind of ideal, honestly, especially for the morning. But that is pretty much everywhere you can pre-order the Switch 2 that I know of, at least the heavy hitters there. So again, get your account set up, get your card info in, get your tabs open, get your stuff updated, and then cross your fingers and hope that you get a Switch 2. It does seem like they are learning from like the Switch 1 and NES and SNES Classic Editions. Like, I think it's seeming like they have better, grasp on pre-orders and supply and demand and all of that. So hopefully y'all get it. Hopefully we get it, and we'll catch y'all next time.